who this person is. Yeah, so arguably one of the greatest players in our generation. But who knows what happened to him 2 seasons ago? Yep, tore his Achilles, and last year he fractured his knee. So basically, even one of the greatest can get injured. Sports injuries happen all the time. They're unpredictable and they're really random. They can happen to a pro athlete, or they can happen to an amateur athlete like me. Even in the NFL, they're suing, former players are suing the NFL for like unsafe rules, and because they don't want to be injured. And injuries happen all the time. They don't have to happen to athletes. They happen to everyday people. I'm going to talk about injuries today because I went through an injury in high school while playing basketball for a team. And in this speech, you will learn the steps of how an athlete recovers from an injury. First, I'm going to talk about what to do when you get your injury. Second, I'm going to talk about the rehab process. And then third, or lastly, I'm going to talk about the final steps of recovering is usually in your head. Alright, so first, what to do after you get your injury. You need to know if you're injured or you're hurt. Usually when you're hurt, you just feel pain and you walk it off. But when you're injured, the pain keeps going. And Aaron Nexler, a sports medicine certified physical trainer, in 2014, in an article in Men's Fitness magazine, he said that usually when pain extends is when you know you should get checked, and you can't walk off real injuries, but you can walk off just being hurt. What to do when you get injured is there's a method called RICE, which is an acronym with R is for rest, I is for ice, C is for compress, and E is for elevation. When you get injured, usually where you get injured swells up, and to reduce the swelling, you need to stop what you're doing, ice it so the swelling reduces, keep it tight, and keep it elevated so the blood doesn't keep going to where it's at. After you know you're injured, you should get checked by a doctor, get a diagnosis of what it is. My diagnosis was that I had a completely tear ligament in my ankle, and I got a hairline fracture on my ankle as well. So, yeah, pretty bad. And they usually tell you how long it's going to take until you can get back, and they're going to give you something like a cast or a brace, crutches, something that'll help you recover in a way. And my recovery process took 10 weeks, 6 weeks in a cast and crutches, and 4 weeks of rehab. And speaking of rehab, that's what I'm going to be talking about next. Rehab usually is, not all the time people need rehab, but if it's really a serious injury, you usually go to a physical therapist, someone who helps you build strength in your whatever you got injured in. And Dr. Trent D. Stone, a physical therapist and athletic trainer at South University, he says that it's recommended for people to take physical therapy because it helps build your muscle, and they teach you exercises to maintain, so it doesn't hurt anymore. The first thing that I learned from physical therapy is that you need to do constant stretching. For my ankle, what my physical therapist told me to do is to do this thing called ABCs. It's where you for my ankle, I would just pretend it's my foot. You go A, B, so I go do that an hour, over and over for an hour a day until it feels better. And then here, you can do aquatic rehab. Well, mine wasn't that serious. All I had to do was, my doctor told me to just just chill in the jacuzzi and just let the heat and then the jets heal you, Um, Another thing you need to do is build strength in your injured body part. What I had to do was calf raises I do that 10 times, 10 reps, 3 times, and so first I had to do it with both feet, like this, 10 times, and then after a while I built strength. I had to do it with one, since it was my left ankle got injured, I had to do it with my left ankle. And then after a while, I feel comfortable, I do it with weights, and then start doing like that, and then one foot again, and then until you feel comfortable with your injury. The last part of an injury, usually you get physically cleared by your doctors that okay, you're ready to play, but usually you're not, because in your head you're gonna be scared of getting re-injured, or like everything is in your head, but the doctors know you're ready, but usually you don't feel ready. Wendy Wise, a PhD at University of Northern Iowa, she said that at least 75% of athletes are not ready to come back when doctors say they are. That's because when they come back, they have a lack of confidence, which leads to declining performance and leads to depression when they're not playing like they are. And a fear of re-injury, that it holds people back when they're trying to play at their full strength, and if they think about the injury in the back of their head, it's gonna in a way hold them back, like I said. Alright, so I just explained the rehab process of recovering from injury. Let's wrap things up. You guys know now the steps of recovering from an injury. First, I talked about what to do after your injury, the rehab process, and I talked about the mental part of it. And last thing I would like to say is that if you're ever hurt or you're feeling down, like when you're injured, when I was injured, I felt really alone. But just know that a lot of people are going through what you're going through, and if you know someone who's hurt, try to be there for them, because it's really depressing. And like here, Derek he got injured 2 years in a row, and his teammates are there to help pick him up, and that's what you guys should do, help pick up your friends when they're injured.